people don't care if their music is digitally enhanced. In fact, they don't even know the difference. That is a frame of reference that I saw very directly a few days back, and I decided I wanted to talk about it a little bit here in this series of posts that I'm doing about artificial intelligence and art. It is a frame of reference that was put forward by Rick Beato, a very famous music producer, outstanding music producer, spent his entire life in the field, and now he recently does a bunch of videos on YouTube that I watch occasionally, and they're very fascinating. They're great. But that's his frame of reference, is that it's to the point now. I linked this in my blog post. You should go back and watch it. It's extremely interesting, 7 or 8 minutes worth of time. And he uses, Cher's Believe as a jumping off point to talk about auto-tune and where that's gone and so forth. But fundamentally, that's his pitch. Things are so ubiquitous now in the music world. Digitally enhanced, artificial intelligence-based stuff are so ubiquitous that people don't even know what they're hearing. And he thinks that's super bad, and I completely understand that frame of reference. It's kind of there are two pieces to this, right? There's Rick Beato is a professional who's worked in the field and really knows what he's looking at, and he's also an old guard. He's an old fuddy-duddy like me, and we're into that stage of our lives where kids these days don't even know what they're and so he just doesn't like the sound of digitally enhanced music. You can see that it rolls right off of him as he talks about it, right? He does not admire that practice, despite the fact that he even suggests that the work is well produced and so forth. And he starts bringing in questions about artificial intelligence and how music will be completely developable. AI is able to create tracks right now, and all things are going in that direction, right? But more importantly, right, he says they don't know the difference, but he also talks about the fact that that people don't care. And number one, I disagree with both of those to some degree. I think that underestimates the ability of people to understand what's going on, right? I mean, I think that at the end of the day, people understand when they're listening to Cher's auto-tune that is not a human voice doing that. I think they understand that. Now, it may get so ubiquitous that they forget it and don't think about it anymore, or it just becomes whatever. I think the second piece is it's clear that they care, right? At this point, I mean, it feels clear to me that human beings who are listening to music actually do care about the musicians who are making the music. Or at least the brands of the people who are involved, who are listed as being the music makers, right? I mean, it is not like Taylor Swift is having any problem getting people to come and watch her play, right? I think that if you were to advertise, hey, we're going to set up a big set of speakers in Allegiant Stadium out here in Las Vegas, everybody come and we're going to listen to her music, you probably would not get a whole bunch of people putting down many hundreds of dollars to show up, right? I mean, you might get some people throw down 10, to go to a party. I mean, that's those are different things, right? One is a entertainment venue and one is an artist, right? People pay money to see Taylor Swift. They pay money to see a tribute band, which I know because my brother is in a couple of them. So really, I think this is an interesting question. When I hear people talking about artificial intelligence as taking over our jobs as creative people, I admit the doomsaying seems too heavy. I don't think it's an either or, one or the other. Everyone is going to be crushed, or everyone is going to be fine. I think that the answer is somewhere in the middle. I put out a month ago, I wrote a post about how I was not concerned about the death of the artist. As an independent writer, I'll probably get into this tomorrow when I get into GPT a little bit more, but as an independent writer, I already have like a gazillion billion competitors, many of them who are giving away their work for free. That doesn't it doesn't change anything. If AI starts spitting out another 100 gazillion pieces of work, my audience will have the opportunity to either buy the AI stuff or buy my stuff, and I will have to make some business decisions about how to address that if I want to stay in place. But really, at the end of the day, the thing that I admired the most or liked the most about the Rick Beato thing was the question that I talk about in the blog post, and that is, who's going to pay for it? Who can? And fundamentally, the question is always, the underlying question in all of these concerns about AI and art is, at least writing close under the surface, is, oh my gosh, I'm an artist. Am I going to be able to feed myself with my art going forward? I think the answer will be yes. You may have to change some ways that you do things. I could be wrong. I've been wrong about a lot of things before, but if you step back, and when I step back and I think about it pretty closely, I am not, I'm concerned that I may not have a career, but not because of the AI. I just need to keep, an artist needs to continue to keep moving and doing things. And I think that's always a challenge for a human being, because rejection is heavy. Rejection is heavy in a creative world. So, and good things don't seem to always flow, except for a very few Taylor Swifts and so forth. But even then, she has to deal with crappy record companies and all sorts of shitty business practices by the capitalistic world around her. So I don't know. Anyway, that's the bottom line. I actually moved this piece of the narrative that I'm making up a little bit, specifically because I thought the whole use of the music industry and thinking about consuming of art from the viewpoint of a music aficionado, a person who just loves music, was an interesting world. That business world is always in advance, it seems like, of us here in the text field. So anyway, watch that video, think about it a little bit, and feel free to tell me I'm wrong. We'll see what happens over the next 5-10 years. So anyway, have a very great day, and I will see you again tomorrow.